What's up, Melanated family? We are about to do another interview. Welcome to Melanated Fathers TV. We are about to do an interview today with my brother Isaac Coles, who is a certified personal trainer. He is an amateur professional licensed boxing coach. He is also the head coach of Shallow Boxing Team. So we're going to talk to the brother. Been following him for a while, doing a lot of good things in the community, using boxing as a vehicle to empower young men. So I'm all for that. Let me invite the brother on. I always do this shit the wrong way. That's inviting them to watch. That's inviting them to watch. Right. Hold on a second. There we go. There we go. Right there, man. Let's get this thing going. Again, we're going to interview Isaac Coles today, y'all, for Melanated Fathers TV. You know what I mean? I like to speak to people who are an inspiration to our community, whether it be with a job or whatever they do for a living. What's up, brother?
Okay, we here. We here. We here.
How you doing, man?
Doing Smo.
Doing good. We just got through sparring, man. We are actually here on Florin Road over at Caballero's NorCal boxing gym, his new boxing gym.
Okay. That's what's up. You got your boy there with you. I see that.
Hey,
That's what's up. How you doing, Puma?
I'm doing good. I'm doing Smo. Just got done sparring myself.
Yeah.
I did I had to get out because I hurt my elbow like in the middle of it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's good. You got there. You got him there with you. Some of my
Yeah.
questions I was gonna ask was pertaining to him as well. You know what I mean? Because
We're a package deal.
yep. Because before I interview people, I typically spend like a lot of time just watching they move. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I've been able to see like everything you do with boxing has been intriguing to me because most of the people in our community, when we think of athletics, most of us are playing basketball or playing football or something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm noticing that you empowering young men using boxing, and I see you training them, you traveling to different places, getting it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Having a great time, man. I agree. You know, when I go to a lot of the boxing gyms, especially in Northern California, I just don't see a lot of young black boys. I think that we have like a foregone conclusion that we're black and we can fight. So, you know, I just don't think that it's a big thing in our community to put our boys into training like we should be. And, you know, Puma's been in boxing since he was 8. I've always believed in raising boys in general in boxing. I think it does a lot for the character. I think it's an important thing, man. Boxing not only helps, you know, make confident boys, but it also helps, you know, with the discipline. It makes good kids, man.
Definitely, definitely. So I wanted to start from the beginning. Everybody that I interview, as you know, the basis of my platform is fatherhood. So I like to talk about childhood and just anybody who's maybe been watching you but don't quite know your story. You know what I mean? So I want to
Yes.
start from the beginning. Tell everybody about your childhood. Like, were you raised here in Sacramento?
I was raised in Sacramento. I was born in Tucson, but I was raised in Sacramento.
Okay.
I was raised in Sacramento also. We started out in Brancho, and we've been in Oak Park for the last about 10 years. So Puma 16, he spent about 4 or 5 years, 6 years in Rancho Cordova. Roseville too for a quick stint. But he spent the majority of his time in Oak Park. He grew up for the most part right there in on 38th and 16th.
Okay. So, because I see everything that you do with your son, and that's just beyond a beautiful thing to me. You understand everything going on in our community. So, black men who raise their sons, you're gonna lead them on the right path. But I want to talk about your childhood for a minute. So, were you raised with your mom and your dad?
Say it one more time.
No, I was talking to you, Isaac.
Oh,
Were
I'm sorry. Repeat yourself.
Were you raised with your mom and your dad?
Yeah, for a portion of my time. My parents broke up when I was about 6 years old.
Okay.
So I spent time with both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I spent from the point of 6 to, you know, I moved out when I was about 17. In that 11-year span, I probably spent about 4 years with my mother and about 7 with my father.
Okay. So, growing up, you had a relationship with your pops.
Yeah, it was mostly me, my brother, and my dad. I don't have any sisters, and my dad's an only child, and my
Mm,
mom had brothers. So I grew up around a lot of men. Most of my world was male dominated for the most part.
got it. Okay. So besides Puma, do you have any other kids?
I do. I have two daughters. I have a 13-year-old daughter who is a dancer extraordinaire, and I
Mm.
have a 20-year-old daughter who's a makeup artist, and she works at Mac. If anybody needs work, she's at Mac on Arden. You need your face beat to the gods.
Okay. Now, okay. So growing up in a situation where you was around a man, because for a lot of us, we were just raised by our mom. So having kids ourselves, it was a little difficult to get the understanding of like what my role's supposed to be since I didn't see a man in the house. So how did that affect you? Like having a dad around, seeing him operate, seeing how he maneuvered, how did that affect you when it came time to raise your kids?
I'm one of those people that did a lot of the opposites of what my dad did.
Mm,
Um, he made a lot of mistakes with me. I would characterize him as toxic in a certain sense at
mm,
times. So a lot of my manhood, a lot of my character is based on not wanting to repeat some of the like neglect, some of the just some of the situations that I incurred. You know what I mean?
mhm.
I knew that I would have a better relationship with him than I have with my father, and that was I think that shapes the majority of my decision making.
Got it. Got it. Now I gotta, cause I'm so happy you got your son there, bro. I got a quick question for you, Puma.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, in your friend circle, like some of the guys that you hang around,
yeah,
I'm sure you have certain friends that may not have a father in their life.
yeah,
Do you see a difference from you who you're around your dad all the time, he's doing whatever he can for you, when you look at your friends or anybody around you who may not have a father around, can you see the difference?
yeah. I can see the difference. It's a bit in like accountability, I guess I would say.
Mm,
Like it's a bit get them to like admit to their when they were wrong, or
mm,
like work into like arguments, whether it's like something small or something big. Um, and it helps me like understand like how to break down something, how to break down like an issue, and like be able to resolve it without having to like get all uppity.
mm. That's big right there, y'all. That's big, and that's something that I figured because, like, to be a man in society, you have to have a tool belt where you know how to deal
Yeah,
with your emotions, where you know how to deal with certain situations. And unfortunately, if you raised in a house where it's just a woman, you may end up acting like that woman. You may resort to handling your situations like your mom would. I mean, I found myself doing that when I was a young man. And I had to check myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. I think that you know, the issue in that is that women have a tendency to call their sons king and give them all the rights within, whereas men challenge their sons to be kings
Mm,
and put to show that they're worthy of a title. Any king has to be a prince first,
man.
meaning that he has to be cultured, taught, and either you have to kill your dad to be the king, or you need to go conquer your own to be a king. You don't just wake up and become a king. So I think a lot of the issue in dealing with, women that want to strengthen their sons, that want to fortify their sons against the world, they fill them with a sense of arrogance based on the fact that they don't make them earn the titles that they give them. So you usually have a guy that has actually a hyper masculine behavior
Mm,
instead of like a truly masculine behavior, which to me is based on like experience and relationships. Because in a real situation, you're going to, with men, you're going to take your place in the hierarchy. When you're raised around women, you put yourself at the top no matter where you're at. And that creates conflict because you're not always at the top, no matter where you're at.
damn, that's some real shit right there, bro. Now,
I've seen it a bit of the opposite myself, like seeing at it from the other way, like when you predominantly have a dad and not really a mom, like it becomes like a bit more of like a more lesser, I want to say lesser because that's a bit of a strong word, but like a lesser version, like instead of putting yourself at the top is more so putting yourself lower on the hierarchy, because depending on how the dad might be, like it might, like his own masculinity might push down his son's masculinity.
Might be used to being suppressed.
Yeah. So he, like, I've seen people who I know who have like been a bit more like in the back row, I guess you could say, like a bit more like less spoken up, less being willing to push forward in their own emotion.
That's definitely a good point, young man. So, Isaac, tell me, like, because I see everything you're doing with boxing now. When did you become interested in boxing? Like, were you a kid boxing? Talk to me about that.
Nah, that's an interesting development for my life. I can say I always liked boxing. I've always been somewhat of a fighter. I like fighting. I got into fist fights as a kid. I like to play fight. I got 6 uncles, so you know I'm definitely one of those friends that'll put his hands on you. I got friends that are, you know, a bit overly masculine too, so you know I get beat up a little bit and wrestled on a little bit for some of my guys that got a bit more size on me and stuff like that. So and I'm a little brother. I'm a little brother with 6 uncles, so I'm spunky. You know, that's kind of where it all came from. But the whole boxing thing really is just an offshoot of me trying to be a better father. I wanted to work on my, like, what I would consider my masculinity at some point, like in the way of like my physicality. And I was with my son all the time, and my son was always messing around and about to nearly kill me when I was lifting weights and stuff like that. So once I got him involved, and me and him were actually growing and working and learning, it turned into more of an obsession. I wanted to teach my son to protect himself, but then I also started realizing that I had a lot of faults in my game, so I started to teach myself and also seek training. So I worked with a few trainers in the town, Mel from Grimm's Gym. You know, I've been around Mateen, I've been around Otis Griffin, I've been around several past fighters, I've been around several major coaches. I just left the room with Ray Woods. He's in the room in there. I'm working with him and one of Floyd's fighters, Xavier Martinez. So a lot of my education really came in my adulthood through my obsession and my love for the sport. And once I went public and started to take my fighters out and also to work with other coaches, that's when I realized that what I had taught myself or what I had absorbed through video, picture, every source that I could find was legit, because, you know, my fighters were showing up winning and my conversation with the coaches were agreeable, meaning that my information was par for the course. After that, it was just about choosing a style and a direction.
Okay. Now, Puma, I have a question for you. So
Yeah.
I've been watching on the sidelines. I've been watching the videos your dad put up. I've been watching you work out. And I'm going to be honest, some of it looked unreal for a dude your age to be getting it in like that, right? So as a young man, because I know you dealing with school, you dealing with, you know, beginning to like girls and all these different things. What motivates you to keep going in boxing?
Me, myself, I would say now it's been my own pride. Like, I've done it for so long, and I felt like I've always, like, I never had a feeling where I had a really low point in boxing. Like, with adversity in like my own way, and like, and some people might say it's like a bit more of a serious issue, but the way that I internalized it myself, like I never really reached like a really low point where I'm like I want to quit, or like it's like too hard. So like for me, it's like I know what my own skill can be, I know what I've done myself, and what I can continue to do. So for me, it's me holding with myself, and like me having my dad help me really just reach this as far as I can.
Got it. Now, do you plan, because I'm slightly familiar with boxing, y'all, so forgive me. Some of these questions I'm gonna ask is just me trying to familiarize myself with what y'all actually do, because I know boxing looks easy to a lot of us, but I just have a feeling that it's a really technically based sport. And I think it's a technically based sport where a street fighter type dude fighting a boxer, I'm feeling he kind of gonna get his ass whipped because he don't know the technical advantages of it. So explain to me like the difference between like a street fighter and a boxer.
Really, it's like the discipline of having to learn like the mechanics, having to really drill the mechanics, because it's not just like, say, you know how to throw a jab. It's being able to drill, so every time you throw a jab, it's the same way you throw the jab. Learning different styles, throw a jab. Like there's a lot of intricacies that go in it, and you have to be able to pat those down and drill those. depending on how you style, like how your style is, like how you fight. It really all comes from the heart, honestly. As long as you're able to have a structure, like your heart, like can tell you like how to really work. You feel what I'm saying?
Definitely.
To add to that, there's a discipline on an emotional level and on a like even on a chemical level, like your reaction to your fight or flight, your adrenaline. I think there's a culture that occurs when you're in a gym more often where, you know, you might respond differently when you're not accustomed to having like that flood of chemical, that flood of emotion, that feeling. Once you get more accustomed to so I would make it like akin to performing. I used to rap and stuff like that. Like when you get on the stage and you get butterflies, you know, about a 10th time you perform, it's just really kind of routine and it's not a big deal anymore. You stop forgetting your lyrics, et cetera, et cetera. So I think a lot of it is just the culturing of the repetition that creates that comfort and understanding of self. So, you know, it's so random when you get into a street fight with just anybody uh, without a skill set or a style and mechanic. Everything's very randomized. Whereas, so I would akin that to, you know, checkers. Whereas once you do have a skill set and a style, then it's more like chess. You know, we're looking to create stimulus and work off the responses.
Got it. Got it. Now, talk to me about, because we talked about it at the beginning of the interview a little bit, but I want to, for moms out there, because a lot of women listen to my show. For moms out there, Isaac, tell me, like, what's the benefit of boxing? Not over basketball or football, but what would be some of the benefits from boxing that you may not be able to get from hooping or playing baseball? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
An interview on a podcast.
For me personally, it's like the confidence in myself. Like between the diversity of like getting punched and things like that, and like having to drill myself, like I know myself very well. I feel like I'm very confident within myself, and it just helps with my own growth in myself.
I'm gonna tap in with you, see what's up.
Yeah, it's all good.
I got you, boy.
I just feel like I know myself. I feel like I'm very strong in my own personality, in my own body. Like I feel good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
If I could add to that, I think, you know, if you think about it from the standpoint of a mother, if you are trying to strengthen your son, if you are trying to make sure that your son is prepared to represent himself properly, then one of the best things that you could do is give him a chance to test himself and to learn about himself. And boxing is just a good forum and a good place where you will be held accountable and forced to perform, which will give you some self-discovery and will keep you from being insecure, will keep you from being hyper-masculine, because all those things come from just the unknown. If you don't know if you can whip somebody, of course you're gonna run your mouth and you're gonna act up and you're gonna act big. Once you know that you're skilled, once you know you can handle yourself, there's no reason to pretend or to act any type of way at all. You just handle business and move on.
Now, another thing that just came to my mind. When my kids were younger, because I have 5 boys, when 2 of my kids were younger, their mom wanted to put them in karate, right? And we did the shit. But it was extremely watered down, right? They're going through all these techniques, but they never fought each other, right? It was just like a whole bunch of small bits of training. And it looked as if, like watching them spar, it looked as if like the shit wouldn't work in a real fight. How do you compare like a karate, and you understand the little karate shops they have here around the city? How do you compare that to like actually putting a kid in boxing?
Well, karate is a bit antiquated in a lot of scenarios. You know, first of all, boxers are adept at creating damage, so there's not going to be too many people that can strike harder. But beyond that, you know, I think that karate has so many portions to its discipline that can get kind of random too. And it's just not applicable as much in a one-on-one engagement in the street as, you know, being aware, the self-awareness that boxing creates, and your ability to punch and slip and to block and to just to manipulate your opponent. I think that karate is a little bit more, it's a little less focused on the defensive aspect. I think you just leave yourself a little bit more open. Your hands aren't in place to protect your face constantly. Even though you're using kicks and other portions and components of fighting, I believe that when you are focused on simplicity can be brilliant, and boxing can be very simple at times. It's very easy to keep ourselves highly protected by by limiting what we allow ourselves to do. You know, we're not going to be in any type of you know, random number of circumstances. There's only going to be a few stances, poses, predicaments that we're going to put ourselves in, that we're going to, that we train to find our advantages through. So point in case, if I'm face to face with somebody and they're preparing to kick me or punch me or grab me or hold me or whatever the case might be, my inclination is to control the distance and to land my strikes without getting caught up in, the holding or the kicking, or et cetera. Well, we practice distance, we practice striking a lot more than somebody that breaks their discipline up into, like, today we're throwing, or today we're kicking, or today we're punching, because those all have different disciplines in the way of understanding the distance and the energy system control. And there's so much to it. And he explained that there's intricacies in boxing, but once you start adding all of those other mechanics and et cetera to it, it leaves a lot on the table, whereas you can be quite simple and punch them in the teeth.
Is like with karate, like it's more what can you do, and I feel like with boxing is more what can you set up. You feel what I'm saying?
There's a lot more possibilities in karate, but I think that boxing, you can control the situation a bit more.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how I felt. That's kind of how I felt. Like a kid will be more prepared to fight in a real fight if they were to engage in boxing opposed to karate. You know what I mean? So I wanted a lot of my parents to hear that.
The biggest thing the biggest difference in karate is that it's points based. So there's no real tax on the endurance. There's no real tax on the skill set and the focus over time. We have to run for 3 minutes straight with no interruptions, other than if we're holding too much or if somebody does something illegal. So, in karate tournaments, in karate sparring, etc., with it being points based with all the resting and breaking in between, and even just the length of the competitions themselves, they just don't get into the same type of shape either.
Got it. Now, I was going through your page and I seen something called the Lionheart system. Explain to me what that is, Isaac.
So the Lionheart system was my first company, and it's still my company. I'm a NASM certified personal trainer. So when I'm boxing training with my students, or I'm doing strength and conditioning with some of the professionals that I work with, I also do sessions with people that just want to lose weight, gain weight, do rehab, physical therapy, etc. I'm for fitness in general, but I'm also for just taking care of people. I'll just sneak him in real quick. Got Xavier Martinez right here, and one of his coaches, Tyrone.
What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas?
On the floor, boys right there. We just got through working. I had to come over here and get an eye on Xavier too, because I'm his strength coach. He'll be over at my house to get a session in tomorrow. So, but getting back to what I was saying though, have you seen them lifted? Sorry, sir. Yeah, I just think that when you're comparing boxing and karate, boxing. I went back a question. I'm getting distracted. Lionheart System is my personal training company, and it really just boils down to, like, that's really how I started. Before I started training people for boxing or strength and conditioning, and even the knowledge that I gained to do those things better, it really came from training people for their personal fitness goals.
Got it. Now we have
track,
it's all good, family. We have a lot of young men in our community that may have a certain, they're going through things at home. They don't have a lot of resources. They may not have a father there, and they be angry, they be mad about it. And you know what I mean? Because of that, they're joining gangs and doing all this stupid shit. Do you think boxing can do something for a young man mentally to kind of help him realize he don't want to do that?
I covet those boys and I look for them. We create a familial environment, because, to be honest with you, that's all gangs end up doing also. Once you're accepted, you're allowed to represent those things. When you get around people that are gang members, that are intimidating to everyone else and offensive to everyone else, they treat you special. They treat you with love. They share sandwiches. They got secret handshakes. They love each other. It's a familial thing. So it's no different. Once you get into the boxing game, we treat you like family, and we obviously put your intentions on a different level, and the opportunity is different. It's not illegal opportunities. It's not fast money. It's not all the allure of the street. It's the opportunity to commit to yourself and to take yourself somewhere without the fear of someone taking that from you. So I think that it's absolutely imperative that we get our young men involved with physical activity in general, but boxing in particular is an excellent way to change the narrative that a lot of these boys. I live in Oak Park. I worked at a school where, a lot of the kids now, 5-6 years later, are 15, 16, 17. And, you know, they do seek me out because some of them go by the way of the street and they come by my house with marijuana in their ears. And, you know, they have changed. They've accepted their initiations. They're thugged out. And then I got kids that come by and they're having hard times. They're not eating well. They're not doing good, but they need somewhere to be and they need somebody to be around. And those are the type of people that me and Puma want to impact. Because, yeah, man, the hard-headed boys make the best fighters, man.
Mm-hmm.
They turn killers, man. We love those castaways. We love those little ignorant, hard-headed boys, man, because it's so beautiful to see. It's just like when you find a dog that is protective and wants to bite everybody that's close to them. It's so beautiful to see what a little bit of love does to change a person.
Definitely.
Honestly, like it helps control your emotions, honestly, because like boxing has a structure, but it's also very free flow. Like you're able to be you in the ring. So like for me, honestly, like I have moments in the ring where I get mad at myself, like depending if I got hit with a punch and like I feel like I shouldn't have got hit with that, so I get mad at myself or I get mad at him because he tried hitting me. But it helps me control that and it helps me direct that towards something rather than just have it out. Like it helps me provide an outlet.
Got it. Now, Puma, what would you say are your goals? Like, what are your ultimate goals in boxing?
For me, like my immediate goal, I want to get to a tournament, whether it's one of silver or golden gloves, or if it's nationals, and I want to win a trophy because that's what we're trying to work on before I had to stop boxing for a little bit for my own reasons. But when I came back to boxing, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for to attain a trophy myself, and honestly, like I'm just trying to see how it goes because I am working in school. I am trying to be a personal trainer as well and work in the gym. But if I'm able to go farther than what my already goal is in boxing, I'll take it from there.
Got it.
I'm trying to keep my
Got it. Now, so Isaac, just a few more questions for you guys, man. Isaac, because I see you're currently training boxers. You just showed me the brother that you're helping. How's that been going? I see you had a brother in Mexico a little while ago. Y'all had a fight there. Tell me, how is everything progressing for you?
Things are going good right now, man. We're very focused on the day-to-day. Yes, sir. Have a good night, boys. Things are going very well. The training is day-to-day, and I'm keeping the fighters focused. So, you know, that was an advancement for me because I've been a head coach for a while on an amateur level. I've taken a few fighters to a few paces. Sorry, Xavier's car is super loud.
Ooh.
Scat bag. Gotta get away from this car. Get out of here with your loud car, little youngster. Sorry for that. Yeah, no, man. Get out of here with your little loud car. Little obnoxious gangster car. That was a big development for me because I was an amateur coach for a long time. We have got some accolades as an amateur coach. My dog, hey, you know, switch whips again? It was a major thing. It was my first go as a head coach, as a professional. My professional fighter won his fight as well. He also had kind of like a hump to get over. He's been past his amateur days for a while. He's been sparring for a long while with some of the best people in the city. So he'd been waiting for his opportunity to make his pro debut. He had been working with some other coaches in the city and had been unable to make that pro debut occur. So in getting with me in a short time, we were able to cross the border, get the debut done, win the fight. It's really just, to me, about bridging that gap from A to B to making dreams happen. Like, you know, the same thing for my amateur that I was working with just recently, Jalen. He's 26 years old, man. He's been training all this time and never had an amateur fight. It's like, man, it's not a big deal, dude. Like, all you got to do is commit to what you say you're going to do and go through with it. So when the time came and the opportunity knocked, to be honest with you, I didn't plan to be a pro coach this year. That wasn't my intention. I didn't necessarily plan to enter the pro ranks before my son did. But like I said, you know, as opportunity comes, you have to learn how to capitalize on things. And it's been a very, very good development. The relationship is going well. I've been able to bring some things out of Samaje that a lot of people have had a hard time doing. And he's just one of them hard-headed ghetto childs. You know, those are the type of ones that I excel with.
Got it. Something else I was just thinking about. Second to last question, fellas. So just in general, like most people in America are overweight, right? Especially in our community. So what would you say a couple tips for somebody who's a little overweight, maybe they're not used to working out, like where does somebody get started? Is it stop eating so much food? Is it start running? Is it, you know what I mean?
I would say one, you need to learn your body. I would say two, you need to make water a priority. I would say three, that protein is also a high priority. I would say four, that carbs are your friend. Don't listen to the media. Carbs are your friend. You just need to use the right ones. I would say if you're overweight, stop shaming yourself because you're probably under eating. You're probably not taking good care of yourself. There goes another one. Ruben Torres, 4-1 right there. Golden State Bloodhound. There goes another one. I'm telling you, they're everywhere. They're like, but yeah, you want to have a good one. Dogtown. You want to stop shaming yourself, and you want to understand what it is that your body needs and what the process is to put your body in a state of going in the direction that you choose. There's so much misinformation that needs to be demystified, and there's so much shame and personal attack that needs to be separated for these people to be able to do what's necessary for them to take care of themselves on a regular basis. A lot of the times, the people that I work with that are overweight have a large amount of misinformation, and they have a large amount of weight to take off their shoulders in order for them to change their perspective on who they are or how they feel about themselves. It's a big thing to provide confidence, to help carry confidence and provide confidence for people that may have hurt themselves based on their genetics or the decisions they made or whatever the case might be. You got to start from the spirit first. A lot of people have hurt themselves and counted themselves out. So changing that perspective and starting out with those priorities will get you on the right track.
Got it.
Like, don't be willing to give up on yourself, because like within myself, I know consistency has always been my way to get to where I am. Whether it's like how you said, like you felt some of the things I do is unreal for my age, it's because I've always been consistent. I've always been day in and day out.
10 years in.
Yeah, I just been working. So just whenever you stay on, whatever you get on your path, just stay on your path and be consistent.
Definitely. That's definitely some good information, fellas. And like I said, I'm happy that you got your son there, man. He is a bright and articulate young man. And just like both of you guys were saying, we need to realize in our community how much that presence helps. Like, we have a lot of stuff going on in our community, but sometimes we just need to simplify it and realize we start our families the right way and make sure to be a positive influence in our kids' lives. And sky's the limit. You know what I mean? We can get a lot of these young men off the street because my wife owns a funeral home in the Oak Park area. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing a lot of the young men, and we see them with their pants down to their knees. We seeing all the shootings that be going on around the neighborhood. You know what I mean? And I'll be thinking to myself, I'm sure there isn't two parents in the home. You know what I mean? So if we can get back to that, that'll be extremely helpful. That's why I wanted to have you on. And it was great that you got your boy with you, because that's what it's about. You know what I mean? Now,
I agree.
Now, last question. Tell me about anything you guys got coming up. Like, you got a fight coming up. You have any important dates coming up?
Yes, I got a couple of them. I can't give you guys the exact date or the opponent, but Xavier Martinez has a fight coming up in May. We also have a fight coming up, hopefully in May or June, in Sacramento, where we're going to be looking to get Samaje Ramser to get a fight on that. So Shallow Boxing Team hopefully will be fighting in Sacramento by June. We're looking for amateur competitions to open back up, so expect to see Puma competing again. I also have a selection of about 3 other amateurs that I'll be also adding to the amateur rank. And then yeah, no, that's the most immediate. You know, we have several fights popping up here that all of my fighters are in camp right now, and we're all about 2 months to 3 months out from our next dates. And within the year, we will, as a unit, be getting an opportunity at some title contention. There will be a strap brought back to Sacramento here very shortly.
Got it. Got it. Now, Isaac, if somebody wanted to contact you for like your personal training, if they wanted to get in contact with you, if they need to lose weight, they just want to get in shape, they want to get buff, they want to start sparring, how can they reach you?
The best way to get a hold of me is on Instagram. My name is Coach Shallow, not deep, but shallow. Coach Shallow, all one word. You can reach me on Facebook. My name's Isaac Coles. That's ISAAC, last name Coles. I'm okay with you contacting me on either one, or you can contact me directly. My number is 916-767-8333. I'm very vocal. I don't have a problem with anybody getting in contact with me, whether it's business or conversation, whatever the case might be. If I have the time, I'm going to take the call. And I'm just looking to connect, man, and network. It's my city. It's our city, with all respect. And I don't have nothing but love and respect, in me for, whoever's looking to reach out. And we definitely have room over at Lionheart. So if you guys need training in general, whether it's boxing, whether it's fitness, I have a boy out at Cal Poly right now who's kicking butt that I've been training for quite a long time. I'm strength and conditioning coach for him as well. And he got called up from Sacramento City College up to Cal Poly. So he's down in San Luis Obispo. And as soon as he's out of season and he's back to training again, he'll be right back there in the dojo. So yeah, you guys contact me in any one of those three ways, and we're always open.
Thank you very much. So I appreciate you guys coming on today, man. I appreciate everything you're doing for the community, brother. Like I said, there are so many different ways for us to attack our youth and get them in the right direction. Like, you could be coach for sports, you could be a mentor in certain ways, or you can do what you're doing with the boxing, and you're turning out a great young man. And it's important that we understand the other options that our young men have. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you guys coming on, man, and speaking on my channel, which is Melanated Fathers TV. Everybody watching, please follow this brother, follow the boxing. I see you've been selling your gear. So everybody buy the gear. When they fight in Sacramento, let me know. I'll come to some of the matches. I just want to support and do whatever I can to see him as a champion one day. Because if you keep going, like y'all was saying, the consistency is key. If y'all keep going, man, sky's the limit. So I appreciate you, brothers, for being on the show today, man. Y'all have a good day.
Yeah,
bless you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
Yes, sir.
Shalom.